3.5 months of education, 2 years with no job offer. I offered him an internship and he did not accept it. 3 rounds of interview and he got his first job offer. Within 6 months, he got a QA lead position after getting his first job offer. Do you think it's impossible? Well, if you do think so, leave a comment below and tell me why. Otherwise, let's jump into this video and hear about Farah's story and how did he become a QA lead within 6 months, and how did he go through that interview and what questions did they ask him. By the way, guys, I forgot to tell you that our next QA engineer and a QA automation engineer courses are starting just about in 2 weeks. So if you would like to read more information, you can find it right below this video. And also, if you are not able to afford a full-scale bootcamp with the mentors and the practical experiences and a weekly webinars, weekly live coding challenges and sessions, we have something else available for you, which costs even less than $200, link to which you can find right below this video. Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon, Farah. Good to see you again, man.
Hey, it's morning here too. Good afternoon. Good to see you.
There we go, there we go. Awesome. Well, do you want to quickly introduce yourself and tell the rest of the world who you are and where you come from?
Yeah, sure. Hi everybody. My name is Farouk. I like people calling me Farah, so I don't know if that's the better way. I am 30 years old now. I am originally from Uzbekistan. I lived in Tashkent. Came to US in 2015. So been trying a lot of things and seeing which I like and which I don't. So like whatever profession there is, I've tried them. Currently, I am a QA lead in a company called Freedom Forever. Yeah, woohoo.
There we go.
Yeah, we are considered a startup. We have our software engineering department, which consists of like around 50 people, and a QA team has like 9 QAs, including QA manager and a QA lead.
This guy. Awesome, thank you for the introduction. Cool, so you said, so during today's call, we're gonna talk about your experience, we're gonna talk about interview questions that you had lately on your last interviews, and maybe about interview questions that you do ask people when you hire them as the QA lead. So before we get into interview questions, let me ask you a couple of questions. So first one, what did you do before becoming a QA lead or QA engineer?
If I list them all, it's gonna be like my fingers and my hands won't be enough, but like,
let's go.
So maybe people are aware of it or not. I came to US as a J1 student. There is a program called Work and Travel for a summer where students come in, get exchange like cultural and the work, so they work. I stayed here somehow, have been working as a barista, waiter, bartender. Been into banking, have been a personal banker. I've started doing, how do you call it? I've been an insurance seller as well. I got a license in Massachusetts till 2026, health and life insurance. I've found out with that job that the sales is not for me. Got a great experience, like, you know, I learned to talk to people and all, but still, I didn't like the job at all. In one of my recent jobs, like when I was working for Amazon, like a delivery, I found out about the QA. I found out that that's like, you know, entry thing to do or to learn to get into IT world. So I started learning. I've done manual course, which was not quite what I expected it to be, but then I came upon Codemify, had a phone conversation with Serge. That was.
Let me stop you for a second. Sorry for interruption. So you said you took a manual course in another school. I will not ask you about a name, but you said that it was not what you expected. Can you describe what your expectations were and what did you get?
Well, what I was expecting is, right, like they would give some materials to learn independently, but then the webinars that they were providing to the students would be like more on a personal level, where every student could, you know, ask their questions if they're stuck or blocked, you know, and then they get some help to move forward with the program. But in reality, it was like they would get like a cohort for the one course, for example, in a month, right? For the manual, it would be like somewhat around 50 to 100 students who just watch the webinar where the instructor or mentor would just like talk and explain the topic. And then you could just only type the question that you had, and there would be like, dozens or more questions, and they would just like pick one and just answer that. And then someone who's blocked, like I had like a couple of situations that I had, very interested in like getting my questions answered, but they would just like ignore me at all. Like, and I was like, okay, I need to figure out myself. Yeah.
So there was no live conversation between mentor or teacher and the student, right?
No, yeah, that's correct. It was just like, live stream, but with no, how to say,
ability to speak.
Yeah, like it was just one way, from them. That's it.
Got it. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I did not think that people do it this way, because in IT world, you have to ask a lot of questions and get a lot of answers. So I did not think that someone do that. Anyways, let's move forward. So you did not enjoy it, but you finished the course. Did you try to find a job afterwards?
Yeah, I've been applying for manual QA positions. As I believe as any bootcamp nowadays, they give you like the materials to prep for interviews, to prep your resume, and they would tell how to apply to jobs and all. And I've tried that for a month or two with no luck. I've got like a couple of interviews, but then the questions that they gave me to prep for the interviews were not helping me. The feedback I was getting was that I was lacking the seniority, and they would just like move forward with another candidate.
Got it. Interesting. Okay, sounds good. And then you said you found us. I remember that story. I remember you giving me a call, not being, after such experience with another school, you have not been confident that you want to jump into something else. I do remember that, but can you share that moment with us? Because honestly, I don't remember every detail. Maybe you remember it better.
Since I started my learning journey right into QA, I had some I've done some my research and all, and I've looked into the programming languages. I haven't had that much knowledge at that point. I remember I was working for Amazon, and I requested a call, and I got a call from another unknown number, which I don't usually pick up. But I started to, because a lot of recruiters reach out nowadays as well. And it was you, so we had a conversation, and I was very skeptical about it, and the words that you were describing, the studies and the concepts were unfamiliar to me, and I was like, what is this guy talking about? What am I trying to sign up myself for? Yeah. But no, I don't know. I took a leap of faith, if you want to say that, and tried it out and never regretted it.
Let's go. That's a good news. Awesome. So you signed up for the course with us. What did happen after?
So I signed up, but the group already started and they were going over manual part. So I had to wait couple of weeks, maybe 3 or 4. Not sure how long it was, but I got the prerequisites on what I need to learn up. So that was, I believe, Codecademy and JavaScript, HTML, CSS to get into the automation world. So I waited that, and then when the time came around, I joined the group with automation. It was not a large group, I believe 8 to 10. I don't remember the exact number, but webinars twice a week, 2 hours long. So that was the format back then. We would go through the material together with the whole group. You would start explaining it, and then we would start asking the questions, and whoever was in the following webinars, whoever had questions about any of the homework or the challenges, it would be brought up, and then you would go over and explain how it goes, and that was really cool, almost like a personal tutor sessions kind of thing, but it's just like a little larger amount of students. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for good words. That's true. We were still doing live webinars, but during your times, we didn't have any other types of learning materials almost, except the live webinars. Now I've recorded a lot of videos. You watch it on your own. Then we have two weekly webinars where we jump on the calls, and once again we go through materials with me. People ask questions, they get answers. So we did improve quite a lot since your times, but you still were lucky enough to get the job. But anyways, so you signed up for the course, you went through the course, you enjoyed the course. What happened after?
So after I started applying as everybody else, right? I wasn't getting anywhere because maybe how I was searching or how I was presenting myself. There were a couple of students that got like two jobs simultaneously right after the graduation, and I was like, kind of a little jealous. And also, like, well, I personally reached out to the group, like, right, we had a chat group, and they're like, hey, just give me some advice, like, how you guys doing this? I'm not getting anywhere. They would tell me like the websites. Well, I was using those websites as well, but then the interview advice, like about the personality as well, don't not being so nervous and like go through the flow, right? And I've been going at it, and I know at that moment I understood that this is like the numbers game. Like you can't just like apply 3 to 4 jobs in a week and then hope that some of them will just hire you. I would apply like 20 average on day, and go forward. But then the time didn't allow for me to, like in my mind, I still think that if I pushed through 1 more month, I would get the job done. But it didn't happen. Through like not according. I had some personal reasons that I had to like get a job at and start getting income again. So I had to pivot my life at that point. So I went and got a job in logistics. So I was like a truck driver. Yep. I got my CDL in Florida, jumped on a truck, and been driving trucks. I remember, so after the course, like there is a graduates community, right? And everyone shares like if anywhere, like there is a job opportunity or they see something that we might just apply, right? There are like a lot of questions. Who got the, like whoever student gets the job and then there is something that is unfamiliar to them in the job, they would just shoot a message like, hey, is anybody familiar with this concept or this tool? How can I set it up? Can you guys give me advice? And like all of them would just jump around, like even if they don't know about it, some of the students are like very good with Google and stuff like researching, they would just help it out. And one thing was like when I was still driving a truck, I know that you called me and said like, hey, there is an opportunity. This is internship with a possible extension. Would you want to try it out? And at that point, like I was like, my mindset wasn't like within the money. I wasn't thinking about the long term. And like like truck drivers get a good amount of money. So to that compensation that was being offered, I was like, nah, I will just like keep grinding this. And that is another one of my regrets in this, because like I should have taken that and just like yeah.
Got it. Cool. So pretty much after the course, you try to find a job, but you couldn't find it very quickly, and the financial situation pushed you, throw you off the truck pretty much, and you had to start driving actual truck to make money and not keep applying for a job and looking for a job in the world of QA. And then I gave you a call, ask you for an internship, actually ask you to become an intern in one of the companies that was looking for an intern, because I remember that you were good, but you were just shy during that time. And whenever you would go to an interview, you would be a little bit too shy for people to give you a lot of responsibilities at work. So I remember you saying, I was like, damn it, I hope this guy's going to come back because he's really good. And then afterwards, you did see a message coming in our Telegram in our group chat, pretty much in all group chat, which is called Code Family. That's where all of the graduates of our school are going after they finish the course. So we let them join our group, and then whenever people have questions, they can get answers easily because all of the graduates are there, me there, all of our mentors are there as well. So you join a group, and how did you get your job afterwards?
So time passed, and in 2022, like the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, I switched from driving the truck to the office position in logistics. So I was like fleet manager, and I was like looking after like 50 trucks with my team. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm home, I'm not driving, right? And I have time to look for the jobs now. So I just started like looking at the job market again and like trying to apply. And then one day, one of the graduates, Lisa, she posted that their company is hiring for forever. And I was like, yes, let's do it. I reached out straight to her, DM'd her, and I was like, yeah, I am interested. What do I need to do? She said like, okay, this is the link. Go there and apply. I applied, I believe the next day or the day before, the day after that. So it took like a day or a couple days. She gave me a call. So that was like a HR call over the phone, like 15 minutes. She found like, when I had the call, I was like, okay, she's a graduate of the Code Family. Do I mention this like during the call? And then I was like, nah, I don't want to risk it. And I just like kept professional and then like talking about like experience and all. And she liked it. Then she reached out again and we set up a video interview with the team. So we had like a more technical interview. And then I passed that. I had like call with a manager. That was like a small technical one where they presented me the platform and like to see like how would I test it out without like test the unfamiliar platform, right? Yeah, and then I got the offer and I was like very, very excited. And another part,
you didn't find a job. Yeah, so you didn't find a job yourself, but our graduates hired you, right?
Yes.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Awesome. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So you found a job, and what was the period between you finishing the course and you getting this job? How long did you have to drive a truck before you got the job?
2 years.
You drove a truck for 2 years and then you got hired by our ex-students. Whoa, that's cool. So this is the story that a lot of people should probably ask about because they're like, oh, you always show positive stories. People are finding a job. Show us some not a positive story. Here's a not positive story. The guy spent 2 years driving a truck before he became a QA engineer. And now he's a QA lead already.
Yeah.
So that shows that there are quite a lot of people who are shy to talk. But the thing is, you have to get into IT somehow. And as soon as you get into it, you're already a lead. Come on. How long did it take you to become a lead?
Unofficially, 6 months. Officially, 9 months.
Because or even a year. Come on.
Time with the paperwork and
even
all.
if you say 1 year, you became a lead in half year or 1 year. I remember that we had a Jahan, by the way, his video is going to be attached right there or right there. And that guy became a QA manager in 2 years. So you're on track. You're on track. Hopefully, hopefully you'll beat him. Awesome. Now let's talk about your interviews, because I remember this is the thing that the most people are interested in. So tell me, do you remember the questions that you got during your first call with Lisa?
Yeah, so the standard one, tell me about yourself.
Link to the video where you guys can learn about how to answer tell me about yourself question is going to be on one of the sides of this video.
Yeah. And like we had our kind of quote unquote script on how to better answer this question. So I would not go into detail about my personal life. I would just like, tell them about myself, like who am I, right? Where I'm from maybe, and then just describe the project that I was involved in, like in my previous company, let them know what company does, my skill set, like what tools am I familiar with, what new tools are being used in the company, and such.
Mhm.
And after that, there were some follow-up questions regarding the knowledge of my testing kind of thing, right? So if I'm familiar with this type of testing, if I'm familiar with API testing, if I'm familiar with the SQL queries, if I'm familiar with I asked the follow-up question when I was having a conversation with her about automation, because like even though it has been 2 years since I've done the automation course, I know I'm rusty and all, right? But I am really interested in getting to automation part. And I asked them like, hey, does your company do automation as well? Or do you guys plan to implementing any automation framework? Maybe I will be able to help you out, like building it, you know? So she said no, but the company is planning. So that was a great news. And we agreed on like moving forward. And that was the first call.
Nice. Nice, awesome. So tell them about yourself, types of testing, and then a few more questions from you, right? Sounds good, awesome. How about a second round of interview with a QA? Who was it with?
The team members. So there were the QA manager should have been in that call as well, but she couldn't make it. So the two team members were attending the interview. It was the first part. The first half was more like a behavioral or like kind of like getting to know the candidate, right? Same thing, like tell me about yourself. I tried to have some conversation because like when they sent me the Zoom link, right, there was participants and I just went to LinkedIn and looked them up. I found one and apparently he is from my country, and I was like very excited to know about that. And when we had the interview, I just started having conversation like, hey, I'm from Uzbekistan as well, like nice meeting you and all. So it started with behavioral like questions, like situation wise, like what would you done in this situation, like what would you do if you had like a conflict and stuff like that. A little technical questions like how do you create bug tickets, how do you create test cases, what do you do if the dev says it's not a bug? What do you do if there is a drop-down list, but if you click it, nothing's happening? And then there was a SQL query challenge with join tables. So that was that. I was not expecting SQL queries, so I was not that prepared for that. And I couldn't remember the syntax at that point. But then I was like, okay, I'll let them know that I don't remember the syntax. I can look it up. But right now, I want to voice you like, how would I solve this? And I explained them the logic, how it should be solved. And they agreed on it. And then they showed me the solution. And I was like, okay, great. Thanks for showing me and all. And then it concluded. Honestly, I think I didn't answer 2 questions in that interview. I wasn't able to, and I was pretty upset with myself and was thinking that, okay, they gotta move on. I need to start looking again. But then no, the QA manager at that point reached out the next day, and then she apologized for missing the interview and like asked me to jump on a quick call so that she can see what I'm capable of herself.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Sounds good. So how about a third round with the QA manager?
So that was when she called and like asked, apologized for missing and asked to jump on a call. It wasn't that long. She said like she just wanted to see my logic, I guess, and she shared her screen. Went to the platform that the company uses, and she just went from top to bottom like, can you tell me like how would you test this page? And then I just started listing. It was like a kind of a, at first I thought it was like a registration page because it had fields with name, email, phone, address, and all. And I just started explaining her the ways that I would test it.
Walk me through how would you test this or that feature, right?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Awesome. Okay, cool. So you had 3 rounds of interview and then you got your offer in a couple of days after?
Yes.
Easy peasy, easy.
Yeah, that wasn't like I wasn't expecting that as well, and you know that process just went through like this, and I was left behind awed, you know, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then my one of my weaknesses, I guess, kicked in because like I was employed already, and that place was a great place as well, and I felt bad that I got the new job, and this was something that I had to deal with and overcome because like I got scared that I'm like leaving the place and I'm like letting them down kind of thing. But no, I had the conversation with the bosses, and they were very supportive of my decisions.
There we go. They're glad you were moving on to your next opportunity in a QA. Awesome. Sounds good. So you became a QA engineer. Was it difficult to keep up with your job afterwards, after you got your first QA job offer?
The first, I'll be honest, right? I'm not sure what it is, but I got up and running pretty fast in a week or two, right? The first week, the first day onboarding, the first week like getting used to it with everything, shadowing our like other team members. The second week we already had a regression, and they gave me the list of the test cases that needs to be covered, right? And at some point, I was like sitting there and I was going through it, and then there are like multiple QA engineers, right? And then they split it up between each other. And I didn't ask them, and I just covered everything. And I was like, I reached out to QA managers like, hey, I covered this everything. Like, do I have to do anything else? And they were shocked. Like, this is like the whole QA team workload. Like, how did you manage to cover it all by yourself? And I was like, yeah, I just did it. I don't know. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. That's awesome.
They know that I'm like a kind of a quote unquote overachiever, that I just like jump into things and like I'm not scared of work, you know. I'm not scared of like jumping into unknown. I always reached out to my QA manager or the one of the more experienced team members, and I would just like kind of bug them like, hey, show me this. Hey, this is the function that I'm not like familiar with. Can you walk me through it? Can I do it? Like, can you walk me through it so I do it? Because I learn faster when I do some things, you know. And I would just like bug them like, hey, show me this, show me that. What can I do? And like in a month, they were like, chill. You are doing great. Like, chill. Take it easy. Don't like run like that, you know.
So you're shy first, and then you ask a lot of questions, right?
Because like, you know, after all of the jobs that I've been doing, when I started this job, I could not keep up the pace that they set for the newcomers. It's slow. For me, it's slow. And I could not sit in the place. Like, I would just complete the task in like a half hour, and then I would be like, what else should I do? Like, I cannot just sit there and do nothing because I start feeling guilty. Then I'm, like getting paid for nothing,
That's amazing quality. I wish every single person in this world would have this quality, and we would live in a much better place, honestly. Because most people, they just want to get their money. They will sit, play Instagram, and people like you exactly are those people who are becoming leads managers and directors very quickly, because you can just not sit in one place. You have to do the job. The thing is, most of the time you can do all of your job within 3 to 5 hours, and the rest you spend doing things, whatever you want to do. People like you are people who do the job within 3 to 5 hours, and then they take extra tasks. they create test automation frameworks from scratch when nobody asks them. And that's exactly why you became a QA lead and why you're going to soon be Jahan, once again, whose video you can find right here, who became a QA manager in 2 years, because you're going to do it faster.
Thank you for the nice words, man. Yeah, funny thing is though, right? My manager noticed that, and then when I became a lead, she just like pushed me like, "Hey, you need to take a rest. Hey, you need to take a rest. Take a PTO. Take a PTO." Like, and when I just started taking like one day, I took one day off, and they were like, "I'm so glad that you're taking like one like PTO. Like, I don't want you to burn out."
That's actually interesting because Jahan is also from Uzbekistan, from Tashkent. Is there something going on with people from Uzbekistan being the most responsible in this world?
Yeah.
Looks like so far. That's awesome. By the way, we have a video of Ella, and she's also, I believe, from Tashkent, from Uzbekistan, if I'm not mistaken. And she's not a key lead yet, but she can easily become. She's probably just in a company that has doesn't grow very fast, but she can definitely become one very quickly as well. And she's also very responsible. You guys are amazing from Uzbekistan. I don't know what's up.
Yeah, thank you.
That's cool. Awesome. Well, in this case, let me ask you actually two more questions. First one, what would you do if you would start QA from scratch? What would you do differently?
Learning QA or?
Yeah, learning QA.
What I would do differently, I would start with the Codemify without going anywhere else.
Thank you for the advertisement, but let's be realistic.
I would, in my learning process, I would spend more time on learning, I guess. Like during the time that I went through all of these courses and bootcamp, right? Like I would spend some time, but not as much as I wished. So at this moment right now, I feel that I have some gaps in my foundation, which at that moment when I was learning, I learned it, but then I forgot. So if I spent more time or like a different technique, like Feynman technique, where you study a topic and then teach it to someone else, that's how you get better. I wish I did that, because that's one of the best ways to learn something, when you teach someone else, because you have to understand it, you have to teach to someone else, right?
Yeah, and that's actually what you're going to become good at now, because you are one of our mentors at Codemify.
Yeah, trying my best to get there, filling the gaps everywhere that I have with them. From the start, from the get-go, I would make sure that I'm learning the concepts to get the foundation where it needs to be, so I don't have to like look back in the future and like try to remember those stuff, so that I have time to learn more and additional tools or knowledge, to better grow as a professional. That would what I would do, and definitely like being self-taught is something, but having someone who has already like 9-10 years of expertise teaching you the stuff, like how it should be done, I think it's better. Yeah. You can do it. Everyone can do it, but you will spend a lot of time. And I think it's worth it to pay that money to get the experience from the guy who already did that,
Yeah. And by the way, if you guys are interested in doing it on your own, you want to take your time, here's a video where I've explained what exactly you have to learn in order to become a software quality assurance engineer on your own. All right, cool. And the last question. Actually, before we get to it, you said you wish you could study more. How many hours did you spend on studying during the time with the Codemify? And how much time would you spend on education now?
During Codemify, I would say hour to two a day. On average, because like some days I wouldn't do anything, and then the next day I would just like try to cover that and do more, like 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
I had a full-time job as well, so that was like some of the things that I had to figure out my time management skills too. Distractions, I hate distractions. Right now I'm being more mindful of them, but at that time I had a lot of distractions. So I would try and focus on the things that matter the most, and be better at it. And if I had to start all over again, I would at least spend 4 hours a day. You can schedule an hour or two in the morning, an hour or two in the evening. It's not a problem. You can do it. You have like 16 hours a day, which you might just work 8 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can do it. Like it's all your in the back of your mind, like excuses, like let's just chill, let's just take a rest, we can do it later. The later becomes like later when it gets there, later, tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. So just take it and do it right now. Just do it.
Yep. And by the way, before this interview, I'm in a co-working space right now. Before this interview, we had a couple of people here working on the tables next to me. I wanted to do push-ups. I was like, I don't care. I just jump and start doing push-ups in a co-working space. I didn't care. I just wanted to do it right now. Awesome. And the last question: what would you recommend others, those who have doubts, those who are saying that AI is taking over the world and QA is going to be gone soon, those who say that I'm too shy to become a QA engineer, and those who say I'm too busy to change my life?
Well, first things first, AI, it didn't take over yet, right? When it was not introduced, even they were saying like it's gonna take over. It's been like a year almost, maybe more. It still doesn't happen. A lot of developers also say that they have the AI has a lot of errors, and you have to do the damage control yourself anyway. There are a lot of jobs in QA. Like I'm not sure if it can be automated because the human how do you call it? Human factor needs to be there. Like you cannot just program every edge cases or something like that. So I don't think that it's gonna get extinct anytime soon. People who are shy, I would say practice in front of the mirror, right? At first it's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna be like out of your comfort zone, but the more you do, the better you get, the more comfortable you feel yourself, and then when you're talking to other people, you will feel the same. So you won't be like shy or when you're shy and nervous, you forget things that you know. So that's bad. You gotta practice on your skill to sound more be more confident. You did learn, that stuff. Even if you don't know, show your confidence that you will find out. You will learn. You have the tools. You have skills to research.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what was the third point on that question again?
The last one about people who are shy and people who are too busy to change their lives.
Too busy. Okay. Every person is different, right? And the circumstances are different. If you're working 2 jobs simultaneously and you're spending like 16 hours working, then it's gonna be hard for sure. You might just have weekends. But still, right, if you have the desire, you can just do it whenever you have free time. 1 hour a day makes a difference. There is this calculation if you're doing 1%, was it 1%? And then if it's 1 point something one in a year, it just gets massive change. So instead of thinking that I'm too busy, you just need to start doing it. Like at least, you can start with 10 minutes a day. You can start with 10 minutes a day and just in a week, just get it more, 20 minutes a day. And then keep it consistent so that you won't lose that time. If you compare it to not doing and just prolonging it, in 3 months you have been doing it for 10 minutes a day, and it's so much time and so much that you covered already.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And to add up to that, what I would do if I would be shy, My recommendation that will work 100%. Go to the cafe, talk to the opposite sex person that sits next to you. Talk to the girls, talk to the guys, meet them, greet them, ask them about anything. Try to get a conversation going. This will make you just talk to 20 people per day on it for 1 week. After you do that, you'll be like, I'm not shy to talk to anyone. Easy, let's do it.
Yeah, that's a good advice.
First, it's gonna be
I'll think of that. Try that too. Like whenever I need more confidence in myself.
Yeah. Just make sure to tell it to your girlfriend, if you have one.
Maybe we'll just do it like with my wife and to get it better, our social skills as well.
There we go. That's a good one. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining, Farah. By the way, I'm going to leave Farah's, if you don't mind, I'll leave your Instagram in the description below this video. If you have one.
Sure, LinkedIn works fine as well.
LinkedIn, yeah, I'm gonna leave your LinkedIn so people could find you and ask you questions to make sure that you are a real person, to make sure that you exist. You're not a bot. You're not an AI with a blurry background. Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you probably tomorrow on a call or on Monday on a call because we are a Codemify team.
All right, let's go. Thank you for having me, man.
I'm pretty sure you guys have enjoyed this video quite a lot, and if you did so, don't forget to hit that like button below, and also I'm going to leave you a lot of useful information right below this video, so don't forget to check it out, and I'll see you next time.